This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purposes.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video where today I'm going to be teaching you about Adobe Premiere Pro interface. So let's begin our journey to learn how Adobe Premiere Pro works, okay? Now, this is what the Premiere Pro interface looks like, okay? First, after we enter into our Premiere Pro software, we'll be greeted by this part over here which says welcome to Premiere Pro, where we can select two options to choose from, and we have the new project option, the open project option, and the home option over here. And we can go over here and search for any of our previous projects that we created also. Okay, now let's press on exit search and go back. Now afterwards, what I'd like to basically explain to you about is our menu bar over here, where we have the file, edit, clip, sequence, markers, graphics and titles, view, window, and help. Now I'll be explaining first what this menu bar does, okay? So let's begin. Just like other menu bars, the feature of a most computer graphical user interface, the menu bar here allows us to have a point-and-click access to Premiere Pro's specific functions such as saving a file, copying text, opening a help window, etc. So over here first we have the file menu. As you can see here, we can create a new project, close it, save it, capture, link it, make it offline, import, export, and also select project manager. Then in edit we can do anything that relates within editing a video or a file in our software. We can undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, clear, duplicate, find, label, and then more. You can also go to the keyboard shortcuts options over here, or also go to preference, where you can select all the options that you want to change in your settings for Adobe Premiere Pro, which I'll do in just a moment after I finish explaining you the menu bar. After the edit section, we have our clip menu bar, which has everything to do with clipping audio or video in Premiere Pro. Then sequences, and in sequences, we can edit the way our sequences are set in the project panel and also in our timeline panel using these options, okay? After that, we have markers, which will create markers for our video so that we can go in and remember the last time. For example, remember the last time we edited this part, or this part needs to be edited, or we need to redo this part, or we need to actually make this part get denoised. Everything can be done with markers. After that, we have graphics and titles, which will help us to insert new layer, align, distribute, arrange, select, etc. And we can also replace fonts in our projects and install motion graphics templates. After that, we have the view option, where we can see the playback, resolution, high quality, display mode, magnification, show rulers, guides, lock guides, add guides, clear guides, snap in program monster, guide templates. Then in window, we have workspaces, which will be very important to us in just a minute. For now, I'm just explaining what this menu bar will do. So after that, we have extensions, maximize frame, clip, effect editor, track effect editor, text, DVA, export, Q panel. Then in help, you will obviously understand what it says. We can go and select this if we need any help with our program. And then you can also go to system compatibility report, keyboard, and you can also sign in over here inside your Adobe account. Then go for updates and then also see what version of Premiere Pro you're using by selecting this. Okay, now let's go ahead and create a new project and then see what Adobe Premiere Pro does. Alright, after creating a new project, you can see that at the moment, Adobe Premiere Pro is telling us that no project is open, which means that it is going to be an empty project. Alright, now what I want to do is basically select this empty project, since I want to only explain it to you first. So first over here, we have the project name. I'm going to name it as interface. Okay, and Then we have the project location where we can select this part and then choose a location if we want to place our file in a specific location on our computer files or folders, or we can just select the pre-selected locations to save by Adobe Premiere Pro's current locations. Okay, after that we can go over here and select our favorites, sample media, files over here, then devices. You can see that I have two volumes over here, and afterwards we can go to the import settings, which we can select to copy the media. And here you can see that if I click on it, it'll give me a preset to copy my media with, and the destination will be written here. Then in new bin, it will basically create a new file for your video if you click on this option. After that, we have create a new sequence, which will automatically create a new sequence after we add our videos into our timeline panel, which I'll be explaining to you in a bit. So let's go ahead and click on create. Okay, now after a while, you see that our interface has popped up in the best way possible, but this time it's totally empty over here because I do not want to actually add anything yet, because I want to actually teach you the whole thing properly first so that you can use it. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is talk about, first over here we have our project panel. As you can see over here, this is our project panel, and the project panel stores all the clips that link to media assets that you have imported, as well as the sequences that you have created. Now, what you'll learn while using the project panel is that you can organize your items in the project panel into bins. Now, what you learn while using the project panel is that basically you can organize your items in the project panel into bins. Now, I'll do that right now. In order to make a bin, we have to right click over here first and then select the new bin option and then create a bin. And if you want to search a folder, we'll just select the search new bin over here, and then we can create a new folder. Okay, we can search a new folder. Then not all items in the project panels have to be used in a sequence, and the view switch and it helps us to switch between viewing information about clips and it helps us to switch between viewing information about clips and viewing interactive thumbnails by clicking on the list and icon buttons, which are at the bottom left of the project panel. What I'll do is basically I'll resize this so that you can see it properly. Okay, now these are the icons. First is the icon view, then it's the list view, and then we have the freeform view. Okay, so here we have the list view. Now what I'm going to do is basically import some media over here. Okay, now after importing my files, you can see that over here we can switch to this view over here, which is the icon view, and then we can also go to the freeform view over here and see our videos. In the freeform view, we can basically see what our video is like, and we can give a preview. Let's switch back to the icon view right now. And after that, you'll notice that the list views display information such as in the columns of the right over here, and this includes frame rate, media duration, and so on. Click on the column heading to sort the clips by heading. As you can see, if I click on media duration, first it will show me the lowest, the highest video point. Okay, and if I click on name, it will also do that as well. All right, now we can also go over here in the search bar and type in the search field to display only clips that match with your search term. Okay, so this is all you need to know about our project panel. This is the short form of the interface. So let's go ahead to the next part, which is the source and program monitor. So over here we have the source and program monitor panel. This will help in viewing your clips in the source and program monitors. Okay, now we use the source and program monitor we use the source monitor to preview clips before inserting them into a sequence in our timeline. Okay? To play and pause playback, use the playback controls over here. Now what I'm going to do first is input a video into my source monitor. So we can just double click on it and then it will come inside our source monitor, as you can clearly see. And to play and pause the playback, we'll use the playback controls over here. For example, play, stop, go back one frame, go forward one frame. Then we can select go out, go in, and then we can also press this mark in and mark out options over here to select a specific part of the source clip that you want to add to the sequence timeline or the timeline panel over here. Okay, so after that, we use the program monitor to play your sequence. The program monitor is synchronized with the playhead in the timeline panel. Okay, so let's explore the timeline panel now. The timeline panel is this panel specifically where you build sequences, apply special effects, change your soundtrack, and do much more of the creative work assembling your video. Now, just so you know, people like YouTubers, filmmakers, etc., a lot of them make use of Adobe Premiere Pro because of their flexibility in making their work easier, and also sometimes it may become tough, but if you have proper experience with this software, trust me, it will get you very far. All right, so after that, just so you know, many big movies including Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame were also made using this Adobe Premiere Pro software. Now I hope you have some inspiration to begin using this tool because it is very useful. Okay, so after that, in the timeline panel, you will basically learn how to use it. First, in order to use it, we have to click on our video over here. If you want the whole video, you can just click and drag it, but if you want a certain part over here, so let's say I want a part from 2 seconds, then I can just click on this marking option. Then say I want at least just 6 seconds over here, so I'll mark it out. After that, I can easily select the video only over here, or if you want to select the audio, you can select this, but here it's not given to us because the audio is not here in this file or video. So let's just select the video over here, click and drag and drop it to our timeline panel. Okay, so now we know that you can place clips over here to our timeline panel. Okay, afterwards you'll notice that time moves from left to right over here, as you can clearly see, and wherever the blue playhead is placed, you will see the frame in our program monitor over here. You can place clips on a separate video or audio tracks. Let's say I select it again, we can place it in a separate video track, as you can clearly see. 1, 2, 3. Now we have 3 separate video tracks. Isn't that awesome? So let's go ahead and just find it properly. And now if I play it, you'll notice that it is just the same video playing 3 times. Okay, and the playhead is just going from left to right in order to basically tell us where our video is playing from. Okay, now video tracks play as you stack. Video tracks play as a video tracks play as a stack. So a clip on the upper video track will appear in front of the clip on the lower video track. Okay, let's say I put this track over here first. Okay, and I put this one over here. Now this track should run first before this. This track should run before this track, and this track should run before this track. Okay, let's see what happens if I play the video. Okay, now you can see that only these 2 tracks were playing because this was first and this was second and this was in between, so it was not being able to play. Okay, so now we know that the upper video tracks will appear in front of the clip of a lower video track when you play the sequence in the program monitor. Okay? Now, audio tracks play together, so you can create a soundtrack mix by positioning multiple audio clips on different tracks. Okay? You can enable and disable individual tracks when you want to work on a particular sequence. Let's say I want to work with this sequence, so let me disable both of them. Not actually disable, I'm just moving them out from my view in my program monitor. Okay, after disabling them, you'll notice that over here only the first video is playing. Okay, which means that the rest of the videos over here are disabled, so they're not playing. Okay, now if I enable it again, you'll notice that it will start showing our videos again. Okay, after that, selection is important in the timeline panel. So if things aren't working out as expected, double check that you have the right click placed in our selection panel. Okay, there are several tools to use in the timeline and program monitor panels, but you will generally use the selection tool, which is at the top of our tool panels over here. Okay, so this is our program panel over here. What the program panel basically does is show you the end result of your timeline panels videos that you have created over here. Okay, and you can see that it is at the right hand side of our display, and as before, it displays the active timeline of video clips and edited video sequences. Controls under each of the monitor allow you to scroll through the video over here and set edit points. Okay, so this was our program panel. Now what I'm going to do is basically explain to you what my tools panel are over here and what type of tools I have. Okay, so first we have our selection tool. The selection tool allows you to perform basic selections and edits. This will be your default and primary mouse function when using Adobe Premiere Pro, and it's especially useful when you're first uploading and organizing footage and assets. Along with, along with, along with making basic selections, you can also edit points and perform trims, where you can increase, decrease a clip's duration. You can also select the selection tool to highlight and move multiple clips at once, including moving clips from bins to timeline from track to track. After that, we have our track select forward tool. Okay, now what this track select forward tool does is basically let you select all of the clips in a sequence either forward or backwards. All you need to do is use the keyboard shortcut A, as you can see over here, and you can highlight multiple clips at once in whichever direction you prefer. If you hold shift, the tool will select only one track instead of all tracks. And this is the same function for track select backward tool. If your videos are behind this track bar over here, it will select everything behind it. Okay, and this is handy for moving entire sections of composition from one timeline to another if you need to make some major rearrangements for the addition or deletion of other sections. It's important to note that track select tool, of course, won't select clips in locked tracks. Okay, by locked tracks I mean tracks like this. If I lock this track over here, it will not select any of these tools. Now if I use the track select tool, you can see that it only selects these two tracks. Okay, now let's press Ctrl Z to undo that, and after that we have our ripple edit tool. Okay, now the ripple edit tool has the keyboard shortcut B. It is one of my favorite tools in Premiere Pro. The ripple edit tool is a trim tool used to trim a clip and ripple the rest of the clips in the timeline. This effectively will close the gap between the two edit points instantly at the point where you make the edit. This can save a huge amount of time when editing on the fly, as you don't have to manually move around the rest of your timeline, especially burdensome if you're working with videos or sequences longer than a few minutes. Now, when you're using the Ripple Edit tool, make sure you select the correct edit points. You also need to be aware of which tracks are locked over here just like before, okay? And if you aren't, then you can quickly throw things out of sync if you're incorrectly using the Ripple Edit tool, alright? So it is like a double-edged sword. If you know how to use it, then it will not kill you. After that, we have the rolling edit tool, which our shortcut is the keyword N. Okay? And the rolling edit tool, which is similar to the ripple edit tool, is another trim tool used for fine tuning and adjustments. However, instead of trimming a clip and rippling the rest of your timeline, you perform a rolling edit by moving the edit point forwards or backwards in this sequence. Okay? And this technique will be a little confusing at first, but I recommend trying it out with a couple of clips so that you're familiar with it. And basically, the rolling edit moves the out point of the first clip and the in point of the second clip at the same time, allowing you to adjust both clips with one move. Okay, now I'll not show you an example in this part, but when I'm trying to explain the tool to you in another separate video, then I'll do it. Okay. After that, we have the rate stretch tool. Now, the rate stretch tool will help you either speed up or slow down your clips in your sequence when using the tool. Note that the in and out points of the clip will always remain the same, and you'll be changing the duration and speed of the clip according to the amount of stretch through the trim. For example, expanding the out point of the clip will slow down the rate of speed for a video, while shortening it will increase the speed duration. Okay, while there are plenty of ways to change the speed of your clips in Adobe Premiere Pro, using the rate stretch tool is perhaps one of the easiest ways to do it. And it's also the best choice if you're simply looking to slightly modify the speed of a clip to help it fit right into a tight window of your timeline. After that, we have our remix tool. When you apply remix, Adobe Premiere Pro analyzes by measuring several qualities of each beat in a song, comparing them to every other beat. Remix then finds the path of highest confidence between based off the quality to create a musically coherent and seamless song remix, including cuts and crossfades. Okay, so this is a very fun tool that I already used, and it is very easy according to me. After that, we have our razor tool over here. Now, the razor tool's keyboard shortcut is the letter C in our keyboard, and what it does is basically, now after that we have the razor tool over here, and in a traditional sense the razor tool might be one of the most fundamental editing tools in the Premiere Pro arsenal. Using the razor tool, it will add a simple edit point by cutting the clip wherever you use it, just like a tool of a real razor, and it could actually help you while editing your videos. Also, holding down Shift while using the razor tool will help you cut clips across all tracks as long as they're not locked. This can help you speed up making cuts to full sections or sequences at an exact point, which you can then move around as you like. After the razor tool, we have our slip tool. And the slip tool's keyboard shortcut is the word Y. For those visual editors who prefer making their cuts based on the exact images of the corresponding frames, the slip tool is a nice resource for working directly from the monitor. The slip tool slips the clip's source in and out point but doesn't move it on the timeline. When you're using the slip tool, The program monitor shows you the frame before and after the clip and gives you a live preview of the source in and out points with a source timecode included as well. This is helpful if you're trying to look for ways to make some tiny frame by frame adjustments, but you do not want to mess up your whole timeline, just so you know. After the slip tool, we have the slide tool, which is also similar to the slip tool and allows you to work with your clips pulled up on the monitor. However, the slide tool works by sliding a clip on the timeline while keeping the source in and out points the same. After sliding a clip, the tool will then close all the gaps as well. You can also slide a clip backwards as far as the previous clip's in point and slide it forward as far as the falling clip's out point. The slip tool, this slide mechanism lets you make micro adjustments frame by frame without moving the entire sequence or timelines. After our slide tool, we have the pen tool over here, which will help us in moving which will help us with keyframes and other elements like audio. The pen tool is your best choice for adding keyframes to any of your clips. By selecting the pen tool, you can simply click on any point on your clip to add a wide number of attributes, including scale, opacity, positioning, and even the volume of an audio clip. If you hold Alt while using the pen tool, you can also add Bezier curves to your keyframes. Using the pen tool will unlock some of the more nuanced editing elements to your timeline, and you can make tons of adjustments to how your clips interact, look, and sound. After that, we have our rectangle tool, ellipse tool, and polygon tool, which I'll be explaining now. Now, what these tools will do is basically help you add a freeform shape and also create a vector and pixel based shapes and paths. Now, the rectangle tool can be used to create freeform shapes and paths in Premiere Pro. And then we can use the selection tool to basically move it around our video, just so, okay? We can also use it after using the rectangle tool to adjust its width, height, rotation, and anchor point, and use the options in Essential Graphics panel to change the stroke and fill. Alright, we can also add this rectangle without clicking on these tools over here by going to the Essential Graphics panels, which is over here. Let's just go to Window, then go to Essential Graphics, and now you can see that our Essential Graphics panel has opened, and here we can just search for rectangle, and here we can just choose from any of these options below to get our Essential Graphics inside our video. All right, so now let's go ahead with the next tool, which is our hand tool. And also, if I click and hold my left mouse click button, you can see that we have the zoom tool as well. Now, what does the hand tool do in Adobe Premiere Pro? The hand tool in Adobe Premiere Pro allows users to move the viewing area of a timeline to the right or left as an alternative to the scroll bar at the base of the timeline panel. This tool is useful when needing to locate exact clips or frames while zoomed in or out more than 100% and part of the image is out of view. Alright, so this is what the hand tool does, and the zoom tool, just like the name says, it zooms in our timeline panel using this magnifying glass. Okay, now I can select more zooming in options, but now you can see that after I've zoomed in, every second and millisecond over here has been displayed to me, and my video timeline is very long now. Okay, let's make it short again. All right, so this is what the zoom tool basically does. Afterwards, we have the type tool, in which we have two types of type tool, the normal type tool and the vertical type tool. And what the type tool does is basically help you type your words inside your video. So if I select the type tool, then let's say I want to type something over here, I can just select it in my program monitor, and afterwards we can go here and type anything that we want. Okay, let's just delete that, and there you go. Now I hope you have a good idea of what all these panels and our interface the and our interface do in this scenario of Adobe Premiere Pro. So thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next lesson.